Hello friends, welcome to the South Lesson with Mr. Osai. Today we are going to look at still life drawing, and I'm going to show you how to draw still life objects. So now the objects on the screen represents a still life composition. You can see a bottle, a cup, and an orange. Okay, so this what we call a still life composition, grouping together of things that are man-made objects or inanimate objects, arranging them in such a way that it's visually appealing. Okay, so we are going to draw this still life object. I'm going to show you how to break the object you are seeing in front of you into very simple shapes that will enable you to draw it very easily. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so we are going to pick the simplest of the objects, which is the orange, just basically a circle. We're going to start with that. And also, before we continue, I'd like to mention some things about still life drawing. In last class we talked about overlapping, and we said overlapping is when one object is covering the part of another object. So right now on the screen you can see three objects overlapping each other. Right, the cup is overlapping the green bottle, the orange is also overlapping the bottle. Okay, so the cup and the orange are side by side, the bottle is behind them. Okay, we are going to start with the orange and just be just a simple circle would do. So remember, you can start with sketchy lines. Don't press your pencils too hard unless you are confident about the lines you're making. So if you feel that your lines are correct, then you can apply a little bit of pressure to make it darker. Okay, I have an almost perfect circle here, so this represents my orange. Then for the cup, we are going to draw is basically a cylinder. Alright, so you have an oval shape on top. So you draw that, then two vertical lines going downward to downward vertical lines there. Okay, so the base of your cylinder is a curve. Remember that, because we are thinking in terms of forms and not just shapes here. Okay, if we wanted to draw this using shape, we use a rectangle, but since we are drawing a form, it's best we use a cylinder. So that's done. Just add the handle of the cup right there. Okay, so I'm still going to make this very neat with my eraser afterwards. Okay, so we have our cup and our bottle ready. Now remember, in still life drawing, you draw the object exactly how you see it, from the viewpoint you see it. So if you are sitting at a position, you have to draw the object from that position you are seated. Alright, you don't have to stand up and go around the object. You just have to draw that point of view. Okay, so you must maintain that point of view till you finish your drawing. So for the bottle, I'm just going to make it use the shape method. So I'm assuming this is a rectangle here behind the cup and the orange. Then I'm going to put something like a triangle here for the shoulders of the bottle, and for the neck of the bottle another rectangle like that. So this is basically it. It's just very simple. Once you can break the drawing into very simple shapes, you find that it's very easy to draw anything. Okay, so I'm just going to add some details here. I'm not going to copy the drawing exactly as it is. Okay, so I think this form is fine. So now what do? I take my eraser and I start chipping off, erasing the parts that I don't need in my drawing, like the guidelines and the unwanted strokes I've made. Okay, so we are almost done. All right, so what I'm doing now, I'm emphasizing the curves on this bottle because the bottle has a curved surface. So, and using shape, I made it a little bit angular, so I need to soften those sharp edges. All right, so I think this is fine. Okay, all right, so there are some highlights here I would like to maintain. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the shading part. I want to maintain one source of light. If you can see from this drawing, source of light is coming from this direction, the right hand side. So your shade or your shading is supposed to be on the left hand side. Okay, so we are going to do that. We are going to maintain that shading direction for all the objects in the drawing. So if you are shading the left side for the bottle, means you are also going to shade the left side for the cup and the orange. So you see it's pretty easy, just breaking it down to the very basic forms or basic shapes. You find that it's very easy to draw anything. So just, if you follow these guidelines I've given you here, you find you get over your phobia for drawing. At first this looks like a very complicated task, but you see, just by following very simple guidelines, you're almost done. So just going to apply a few more shading, and the style of shading I'm using here is hatching. You can remember from our lesson about types of shading, total 4 types of shading. This style of shading I'm using here is hatching, and you can also identify from my shading the dark tones, the mid tone, and the light tone. So that's pretty much it. Okay, so I'm using hatching for all the objects in this still life drawing. Okay, remember this is not just a circle, it's a form, so you have to shade it. It's an orange. You can even get creative with it, put a stalk if you want to, like I've done. Then we are done with the shading. Then let's start adding the shadow. Shadow is the darkest part of your drawing is the dark reflection of light that is cast opposite the source of light. Okay, so here you have it, a very simple still life drawing, and it didn't really take a long time to make. So I'd like you to try this task. You have to try this task in your art book. You can also try this task by, if you have a bottle in your house, you have a cup, you can get a fruit, probably an orange, an apple, anything that is spherical in nature. Just put it beside it, make a similar composition, and then draw it. Okay, and post your progress on Edmodo on the comment section, and I'll comment on it as soon as I see it. That's all for today. Make sure you complete your task. See you next week. Bye for now.